Hello, Watchaholics. Welcome back to the Watchaholic. How are you guys doing today? So, guys, you know exactly why you're here. Today, we're going to be covering episode 5 of Love is Blind season 3. And as you remember, well, if you don't, where we last left off, oh man, things were getting crazy. I don't know how I feel about certain amount of these people. Now, do I think they can be redeemed? I don't know, especially after seeing these next couple of episodes that I will be recapping. They're all going to be coming out one after another here, guys. So please, if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. Please click that like button. And if you are listening, of course, to the Watchaholic podcast, please don't forget to rate and review. But guys, let's get into this episode because episode 5 was a good one. First thing, before we continue, I do want to cover one important fact, and that is the gold wine cups. Guys, where do you find those goblets? Because I want some so bad. I want to recap this freaking show every freaking season with a freaking gold goblet in my hand. I want to be drinking wine. I want to be drinking water. Whatever it is I'm drinking, whether it be juice, I don't care. I want a freaking goblet. I want a goblet so bad. If you guys know where to get those, comment down below because I really want to know where to get those because I really want one. But guys, okay, let's get into this episode. So basically, we're going to continue on. We're going to start off with Cole and Zeneb, who, Cole's on the beach, he's surfing, and then you got Zeneb, who's just watching. And Zeneb at this point, you can tell, is just still kind of a little bit like a little bit sucked in. And I want her to let loose a little bit. And I don't know if she hasn't let loose because Cole hasn't given her the opportunity mentally, because she is still thinking about the fact that Cole finds Colleen attractive. That has not escaped her mind. And they're sitting eating chocolates, eating candies, whatever that it is on the beach. And Zeneb asks, like, oh, so are you happy with like did you find anyone like attractive? Were you surprised by the way anyone looked at the party? Whatever, all this stuff. And she's just like, no, I don't find anyone attractive, or I'm happy with my choice. And he stays silent. The silence says it all. The fact that he couldn't say, like, no. Like, he said no about everyone, but the moment he talked about Colleen, he made it seem like the reason why he couldn't be with Colleen was because she was with Matt. And happily, she's like, oh, Colleen's happily along with Matt, but not like, oh, this person's not my type, this person's not my type. No, that's not what he said. It's in the details, my friends. It's in the details. And he did not say it. So, I don't know. This guy just keeps continuing to put himself into a hole, and it's not helping the situation for Zeneb, because Zeneb, I think, just really wants him to just choose her. And that is one of the big things going on in this whole season, really, so far. Not whole season, but like since everyone's seen each other, I'm just feeling like certain men, Bartise and Cole, seem to think that they're like getting married to trolls, because everyone else is super attractive to them except for the women that they're with, who are also extremely beautiful women. But that's besides the point. He needs to just tell Colleen, like, hey, no, you're the one for me. I'm attracted to you and I love you. Easy peasy, it all would have been. But no, it's the fact that he keeps silent and just kind of like just makes her feel insecure. And I don't like that. I don't like that, Cole. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. But then we go on to Colleen and Matt. And Colleen and Matt are on like yacht, and they all seem happy and everything's great. And they're like, foreshadowing for the future, because it does not get that way eventually. But anyway, they're all like, everything's great. We're happy. Everything's lovely. And then there's this one comment that Colleen says that I'm like, did that make sense? She says, well, Matt, you're like my top choice, but like Brennan and Cole, who are like my number 1 and number 2. And I was like, Colleen, did you hear yourself? Yes, you said Matt was number 1, but then you said Cole and Brennan were so. Yeah, no, he was your third choice. Don't lie to us, and do not lie to poor Matt. Well, poor at this point, but do not lie. Do not lie to Matt. But then. Then Matt Lovesley, like, this was a test that she will later fail, but he asked her, like, oh, what would you say if a guy comes up to your bar and talks to you, like, and says you're attractive and stuff, like, what would you say? What would you say? And she's like, oh, usually I have to pretend that I have a boyfriend, but now I can say, like, I've got a man. That's not the answer. That is not the answer, Colleen. The answer is, oh, no, I'm married, and that's very nice. Thank you for your comment. That's very nice of you, but I'm very happily with my man. That's all you have to say. But anyway, at this point, you can just tell that you're starting to see like little things with Matt that you're like, this guy might have trust issues. He probably does. Ooh. But okay, moving on. We've got Alexa and Brennan, and they're outside. She's got this huge white hat looking like Rose from the Titanic. And she reveals, and this kills me, she revealed to Brennan that she never wears an outfit more than once. The moment she said that, I said, oh, this bitch rich. Because only rich people don't wear outfits more than once. And I died. I was like, okay. But I did like this little scene because it did kind of show off a little bit of their personality together. I thought they were really cute together. And no, I don't want her to change him because I like Brennan and I like his cowboyness. I love his little cowboy outfit. He's super cute. Do not change him. And from this conversation, I could tell she kind of wants to change his look a little bit and make him a little bit more like fashionista like she is. That's not going to happen. You could tell that Brennan, and he even said it, like, he's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. You're not changing my outfits.
Well,
like, so, but they showed off more of their personality together as a couple, and I really, really liked that. We're going on to Nancy and Bartise, and this was the moment that I wanted Nancy to shine. I was like, Nancy, please call him out on his BS from last night, because remember, let's rewind. Remember when he, after the party was like talking all about Raven and about how in the perfect world they would be perfect together and they would be perfect matching, and like she's the kind of girl that he would be attracted to in the real world. But remember that? But she didn't call him out, and I'm hoping eventually she will, but she doesn't call him out in this episode. But she basically just says, like, I was surprised to hear that Raven was your top choice along with me because we're so different. She's like negative and all this stuff. I don't know. I wanted her to call him out, but she didn't. And I'm almost like, fine, Nancy. You want to go this route? Fine. It didn't really help her in this case because all he did was kind of like cover it up and just be like, no, honey, no. I chose you, though. I chose you because we have the emotional thing. Like, that's us. I don't know. I don't feel like it resolved anything. I think she needed to ream him, and that's what I wanted. I wanted her to ream the shit out of him. Anyway, moving on. So then we've got, this is when it starts getting good, guys. This is when it starts getting good. So you have all the people on the show. They get back together. Not the people who didn't win, the like couples. They all meet again and they're having a pool party. And you've got Cole just running his mouth, telling literally every single person that he's not attracted to Zeneb. I was like, boy, do not keep that shit to yourself. Number one, you think everyone's going to be watching this on TV, number one. And number two, girls talk to each other. Do you think they're not going to be like gossiping with each other about the shit they just heard? Keep that to yourself, sir. Please stop telling everyone that you do not find Zeneb attractive and that your relationship is struggling. Like, I can understand. Every single time couples meet, like, it's not going to be like boom, boom, boom energy at the same time. Just like it was for SK and Raven, which we'll get into this episode. But like, really, dude? Really? Was this necessary? Like, really? Not a fan. I was like, just be quiet, Cole. But then we have Bartise and Raven finally talking for real in the pool. And, they keep showing the shots of, like, SK and Nancy, like, watching them, which I think is funny. I always love those shots. But Bartise is like, oh, like, when I saw you, I was like, oh, yeah, damn, she's bad. Like, yeah, like, she's attractive. Like, you and me, like, we had, like, we're, like, physically, like, we're exactly what people would, like, think would be end up together. Like, we look good together. Like, saying all this stuff that is absolutely inappropriate, number one. So first of all, another girl that is engaged, and to yourself who are engaged, that is very inappropriate. But then he's just like, oh, like, we had that emotional thing. We had that emotional connection and stuff. And then I was like, did you know? Did you forget about the reason why you didn't pick her? Did you forget? Because we all did not. Remember when she was doing jumping jacks while you were trying to be vulnerable about your family past? Yeah. No. Remember who you are. Remember the Lion King? Yeah, that's what that moment he needed. Needed to be like flashed before his eyes. And I loved it. This was the moment. This was the moment that Raven redeemed herself, just in this instance, because I did not like her at this point. I still kind of find her boring in general, but in this moment, I really liked her. She kind of like shut that down. She's just like, well, I don't think we're emotionally compatible. Like, what would we talk about other than like the fact that we go to the gym? You know? And then in the side interviews, she's basically saying like, I came on to Love is Blind because that's what this, it's not about the physical thing. And I feel like with him, like he saw me and then all of a sudden it was compliments here and compliments there. But when we were in the pods, it was never any compliments about pod Raven. It's just now because he sees me, he's just like, oh yeah, like she's the one. Like, and it, yes, Raven, thank you for shutting that shit down. I'm very happy. Yes. So then you have Colleen and Cole talking, and this goes into other episodes, and I'm just so over it by the end of episode 7. But Colleen and Cole are talking, and Cole is just telling everyone, like I said before, about how he feels. But then he decides to tell Colleen how he feels about that thing with Zeneb and about how it's not connecting. And then she's just like, oh, is anyone here your type? And he's like, yeah, you. And she's like, oh, really? And then she's like, yeah, like, what about you? And he's like, yeah, I guess I would talk to you in a bar. And then basically it's just another kind of inappropriate conversation.
Who would your initial type? Really? For sure, like, you would be the person who I would go to in a bar.
A conversation you should not be having with some other guy who you kind of dated, and then now you're getting married to somebody else. So that should have been nipped. Like, the moment he started giving her compliments, she should have just been like, oh, thank you so much. Like, that's so sweet of you. But, I'm really happy with my choice. I'm really happy with Matt. I think he was the right choice for me, etc. And then it would have been great. That's what I think she should have said. But it's going to come and bite her in the booty at some point. That's for sure. And I do feel like he needs to move on, because at this point I'm just like, dude, she's happy, and you need to find something in Zeneb that you really love, because you chose her. And if you can't, do not get married. Why are you? Oh God, I can't. Frustrates me. But okay, then we have Raven and SK. Parties are all over. Those were basically the only 2 huge conversations I felt were really important, really, at the pool party. Those were the big ones. So then we have Raven and SK. And Raven and SK, you can see, so the last episode, they were very much of like, oh, the energy's off, the va-va-voom, like, we should, like, work on that. Or she really wanted SK to work on that part. So, you could tell that he really is at this point. They go and get massages together, and then they go in the pool, and you start to see, like, some sort of chemistry, like, something brewing. Like, there's something there. But this is, guys, this gets me. This got me so freaking much. They're starting to use on this show the term falling in love. And guys, that is a term that you are only supposed to use when you are on The Bachelor or Bachelorette or Bachelor in Paradise. Anything Bachelor Nation. Other than that, you are not allowed to use the term falling in love. When they started saying that in the freaking pods, I was like, oh, hell no. Hell no.
I know. I'm falling in love with you.
Falling in love is a Bachelor freaking term. We do not say that in any other reality should we? So, do you guys watch The Bachelor? Because if you do, comment down below. Let me know, because I love The Bachelor. I haven't watched it in a hot minute, but that show has always given me like reality, like it's reality TV at its finest. Oh my, talk about putting freaking firecrackers in a bin and just running away and seeing what happens. That is The Bachelor. But anyway, so they're getting married, and now is finally when Raven tells SK that she's falling in love with him. I'm like, wait, you weren't already falling in love? I'm confused. Why'd you choose? Oh, okay. Everyone moves at their different paces. You do you, girl. You do you. That's fine. But at the end, like, sometimes I could tell she was, like, a little bit hesitant. It seemed like she was, like, running away from him and, like, kind of not looking him in the eye. But by the end, they start heavily making out. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe there is a little something there. Okay. Maybe there is. I'll take it. Okay. So then we go back to Nancy and Bartise at night, and Nancy's asking Bartise about how I was talking to Raven. Really though? Really? Why would you ask that, Nancy? You shot yourself in the foot. Because then what do we all get as viewers? Bartise just talking again about how Raven is the perfect match for him, and
oh Lord, again. A fucking again.
He's so physically attracted to her, and how he would, they look perfect together in real life, and people would see them together and be like, yeah, like that's the couple, and how he's physically attracted to her, and that's his type, and all this stuff. To poor Nancy that has to continue to listen. The disrespect continues, guys. Continues. And then he goes on to tell her like how he falls out of love really easily. I'm like, are you telling her like, hey, this isn't gonna last because I'm gonna fall out of love with you? He's like, yeah, I fall out of love. I don't really know what it is, but I kind of do. I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? Are you fucking kidding me? Really?
America, my face is saying everything that you need to know.
And then he asked her like, oh, if tomorrow, if we had to get married, would you say yes? And she, with not even hesitation, says, yes, I'd marry you. And he's like, really? Not even without us having any complications or like or arguments or anything like that, you would still marry me? And she's like, yeah, I want you. And then he just stays silent. It's kind of like the beginning with Cole all over again. He just stays silent. And I'm like, could this not be more telling, guys? Could this not be more telling? If every episode passes, I'm just like, girl, abort the situation. Literally, you are in a freaking plane and you can parachute your way out. Get out of this relationship, like, now. Okay, so then we go back to Cole and Zeneb, and they're in the bed, and Zeneb still has his like insecure thoughts, and she's just like basically telling Cole how she feels, and Cole doesn't make her feel any better because he proceeds to tell her, oh yeah, you're a 9 out of 10, but Colleen's a 10.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
My hands were thrown in the air. What in the actual hell? What in the actual hell, Cole? Why would you say that? Why? Oh my God, I can't. Yeah, he just continues to dig himself in a hole and is just like, yeah, but I chose you. And it's like, no. The whole point here is that you are not allowed to say that to your freaking fiance. I mean, even if you don't believe it, you're not. Just say, oh, honey, you're a 10 out of 10. I love you. You're beautiful. Even if you do think Colleen's a 10, you do not tell that to your fiance. I cannot. Cole, you are just digging yourself into a hole and to my list. You're just, I wanted to like you so bad, Cole, so bad. So we get to the end of this episode, and guys, this is when shit gets crazy. Oh my God. Matt, this is the point where we were like, okay, so Matt's got some issues too. He's not perfect. He's got some serious trust issues. So the scene starts off, and you're kind of watching. I'm watching it, and I was like, did we miss something? Because the vibe is really off. It's very tension-filled. Matt looks like he's being very passive-aggressive. His energy in his body is, like, very off-putting. Colleen looks very sad. Did I miss something? And, like, the conversation just kind of starts where she's already, like, that's not what happened. Basically, it seemed like Colleen had come to him and told him, like, oh, this is the conversation I had with Cole, and that did not sit well with Matt. Now, before I get into my gripes with the situation, do I agree with Matt? I understand why he was upset. Totally understand. That was disrespectful, and Colleen should not have done that. Should not have said those. She really, like I said before, should have just been like, thank you so much. I appreciate that comment. It's very sweet of you. But, I am very happy in my relationship with Matt. Boom, easy. Cut that. Boom, boom, easy. But what was wrong about this situation is how Matt reacted, because that said exactly how he would react in all other situations when there is a huge argument, when there is a huge misunderstanding, a communication, something goes wrong. This guy runs, And you know why? Because he is traumatized. The poor guy literally married his high school sweetheart, then she cheated on him, got pregnant with another person's kid, and then ghosted him. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I'm pretty sure there was a pregnancy involved, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a pregnancy involved. But the dude is not ready for this show. He is not ready for Love is Blind. He's not ready for marriage. He's not ready for a relationship. He is ready for therapy. And that is perfectly okay. We advocate for therapy. Everyone needs it. It's okay. But he cannot be on this show because it is clearly red flagging everywhere that he cannot trust anyone at this point in his life. He is not ready, which is why he tested her on that freaking boat when he asked her, what would you say if some guy came up and talked to you? Because he's been cheated on. That is a question. That is a question that somebody who's been cheated on will ask. Like, what would you say if somebody asked you something? Like a guy asked you, or if this is a girl in a, like, what, you know, or vice versa. These are definitely questions that you would ask to somebody if you do not trust them or trust in the relationship and what could possibly happen. And then he goes even way off because he's just like packing his bags. He's like, I don't want to marry this woman. I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. He's like yelling at her. And I felt bad for Colleen in this moment because she did make a bad choice, but I don't think it needed that sort of reaction that Matt had. He was like off talking to the producers, off talking to the cameramen, being like, would you be with your woman if she did that to you? Absolutely not. I'm done with this. I'm done. I was like, this is.
Need help packing? Beat it, queen.
You're done? Matt, you're done? You guys have been together for like 2 weeks. If you can't get over this in 2 weeks, how are you going to get through marriage? You need to calm down. You need to talk this out. You need to understand what's going on, because him just reacting off the fly like that, not good, friends. Not good. But guys, let me know, what did you think of episode 5? That's how it ended. And I mean, I was actually shocked at the way that's escalated, because at this point I liked Matt. But then by the time we got to the end, I realized it was like, there were all of these clues, all these little breadcrumbs that were leading us here. And rethinking and recapping the episode really made me think like, oh, this is why he was acting this way. This is why he was asking those questions. I don't know. How do you guys think? Do you think it was correct? Do you think Matt should have acted like that? Because that was a bit much, in my opinion. Too much. Too much for me. But guys, did you like episode 5? I really liked this episode. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Of course, if you are listening on my podcast, don't forget to rate and review. And I'll see you guys for episode 6. Woo!